Hi, my name is Coldbeer and let's start with the Moon Hell. This is an action hack-and-slash RPG game set in a detailed and grim dark fantasy world. As you play, you will encounter puzzles and secrets that will unveil the story of this universe. And don't expect it to be some AAA kind of game. This is just a simple and beautiful indie title made by a team of 2 people. The combat is kinda slow and difficult, the gamepad is not supported, but the atmosphere is great. And if you are not afraid to play something new and want to enjoy interesting locations design and almost glitch-free gameplay, it might be your spoon of potato salad. Great thing is that the game is not grindy, so you won't get bored quickly. Well, honestly, if you just rush through the Moon Hell in a hurry, it will take only 6 hours to finish, so it's roughly the size of a tutorial introduction of a AAA game. Anyway, the price is great, so why not? Batman, the Telltale series. Here will make discoveries that will shatter Bruce Wayne's world and the already fragile stability of a corrupt Gotham City. Also, your choices will determine the fate of the Batman. Just like in Telltale's The Walking Dead series, here you can choose your own adventure and dive deep into this cool visual novel. The game includes 5 episodes and, as people on Steam are saying, this is a great adaptation with interesting characters of the Batman franchise. Voice acting is nice, the script is engaging, and if you like games like that, it's almost a must-play. You know, seriously, there aren't many great visual novels you can play, especially not on this level. One nitpicky thing that may discourage you is that if you choose a non-violent path, the game will probably fail to react accordingly in several situations, so just beat everyone and enjoy the story. Amnesia, the Bunker. If you played Alien Isolation, then you know the drill here. There is a monster and it's chasing you. The Bunker is a way smaller game than Alien Isolation, but it dwells on the same idea of an elusive monster inhabiting the same place as you. And if in Alien Isolation you found yourself in a giant space station, here you are trapped in a cramped underground tunnel net under the battlefield of the First World War. Don't forget that creators of Amnesia Frictional Games were the pioneers of horror games without weapons. Remember Penumbra? Yeah, that was a gem. So I have no doubt that developers of Alien Isolation took inspiration from the Frictional Games while creating their weaponless Xenomorph game. And now Frictional Games took inspiration from Alien Isolation's monster, and the circle has closed. The game is really fun, although after seeing the monster a few times, it becomes less scary. So it becomes really playable by various pussies like us. It's a wonderful survival game, and if you like the concept, you are up for a treat. Expeditions Viking. Game description says, a small band of Norse warriors lands on the shores of England. History may have forgotten their names, but their actions live on. Well, as I always say, the actions Vikings made in real-life England involved a lot of pillaging and other crimes, like, you know, killing. So romantic and songs-worthy. Anyway, he as the newly appointed chieftain of a modest Viking clan, you'll have a village of your very own. But to carve your name into the runestones of history, you'll need great strength and great wealth to grow your village's prosperity. There is little left to be gained from the Norse lands, and so you must set your sights on the seas to the west, where tales speak of a great island filled with treasure and slaves ready for the taking. Game has a very positive review score on Steam, but there are also quite a few comments saying that the game is a bit too slow, you know, just like your sister. Choo-Choo Charles. Here you will navigate a massive play area in a cute little train, and your mission here is to kill and destroy another train, which is a bloodthirsty spider train named Charles. So Mr. Charlie is a very bad train. He misbehaves by eating people alive. He's very hungry train, and he won't stop until you stop him. With machine guns, rockets and other weaponry. People on Steam are praising the game for having a great story, characters, concept and design. It's a short game though, it will take about 3 hours to beat it, but those hours will be legendary. Game has a very positive review score, so don't hesitate. If you ever wanted to hunt for some killer spider train, it is your chance. The biggest downside of the game is that you can't romance other trains or Charlie himself. It would be great if the story took a turn towards breeding new Charlies, so you can cross that out of your bucket list yet, but who knows what next patch will bring us. Achilles Legends Untold. Here you will take control of a man with a really weak heel, but with very strong everything else. The journey will take you to many different corners of mythological lands, where you'll obtain powerful artifacts that will aid you in your quest. Game has a cool AI system that introduces innovative enemy behavior. Opponents have unscripted interactions with each other and are capable of coordinated attacks, sometimes even taking advantage of their surroundings. Developers are saying that the game is Souls-like, but not as hard as Souls games, so various Diablo-like action RPG lovers could play it as well. So it's like Sands of Aura, a mix of genres, but it's really worth your attention. Titan Station. This is a retro sci-fi adventure that takes us far into the future, in the year of 1999. Yeah, the retro future is in the past, but somehow we have all these wonderful things we managed to achieve with the technology of the past. A really cool genre reminding us of all these science fiction novels we have read in our teens. So here you are, a systems operator, casual worker of the space station. But after arriving, your mundane work turns into a struggle for your very life as you make a shocking discovery. You have to believe me here, because this is not a channel of spoilers. Most of the time. Well, half of the time. Still, that counts. Subscribe. Anyway, the station is connected to Saturn's moon Titan by an elevator and pipeline system. Really cool concept. Here you won't find any combat, and the game itself will take about 4 hours to complete. If you liked games like The Invincible, Outer Wilds or Observation, Titan Station is your spoon of potato salad. More than 90% of reviews on Steam are positive. Black Geyser, Couriers of Darkness. Before the release, the game was a bit in trouble for looking almost exactly like Pillars of Eternity. That summoned a bit of disappointment from the players, but now the outcome is almost a happy one. So in Black Geyser you will be thrown into a brewing civil war between the capital city and the wealthy mining town. To participate in these events, you will be able to create your hero and choose out of 5 playable races and then out of 4 classes. I think it's enough, because I doubt that you will play the game for the second time anyway. Although keep in mind that the game is poorly optimized and sometimes runs with stuttering even on high-end machines. That is a shame, because it looks like it was made 20 years ago. Anyway, if you are okay with some frame drops here and there, love games like Baldur's Gate, it may be a thing that you were looking for. The Shore. I have played this game while it was still in development, and I was really impressed by the grand scale of some creatures and entities that roam this Lovecraftian world. And by saying Lovecraftian, I really mean it. You will literally encounter Cthulhu himself. So basically The Shore is a game about the mystery of the unknown set on a forbidden island filled with horrors. You will take control of Andrew, a father searching for his lost daughter, and while doing the searching part you will awaken a cosmic horror or 2. Or, you know, 4 or 7, this game is filled with them. Although keep in mind that it is not flawless. It has some bugs, some invisible walls and terrible combat. Although fighting is not the main aspect of The Shore, that's for sure. Anyway, for this price I can really recommend this game if you like dark stories, Lovecraftian worlds, your mother-in-law and creepy vibes in general. Also it has photorealistic graphics and looks amazing. Creepy Tale. This is a hand-drawn short adventure game with creepy and at the same time lovely illustrations. Here suddenly everything turns into horror and drags you into a series of terrible events. Your brother has been kidnapped and you are left face to face with an ominous forest filled with dangers and strange creatures. You will have to solve the puzzles that you meet on the way. Do not let yourself be caught and save your brother. Also find out the dark story that befell the once calm and peaceful forest, turning it into a creepy place filled with evil. And by saying evil, I don't mean pineapple on pizza or in potato salad level of evil. Nothing is that evil. People are saying that this game is charming and will suffice as a bedtime story before you sleep. It's only 2.5 hours long, in other words, short enough to keep your attention the whole time. In Sound Mind. This is a survival horror where you will experience a series of haunting memories. You will take on a journey through a progression of unsettling stories, each with unique puzzles, mechanics, weapons and boss fights. Basically here you play as a town therapist and dive into the strange worlds of your patients. The game is a bit scary and plays as a psychological thriller. All the levels are unique and all of them hold a certain ominous atmosphere, so it will definitely grow some hair on your mental balls. People on Steam are saying that almost nobody expected the game to be this good for this price, and I totally recommend it for you as well. Rock of Ages 3 Make and Break. Here competitive tower defense meets arcade action and gets rolled up with quirky Monty Python-esque humor into one huge game. This time around you can even design and build your own levels and share your creations with players from all over the world. I ain't gonna lie, this game is loved less than 2 previous games, and honestly it has ended the franchise. The biggest all-time simultaneous player peak was only 205. For example, this number for the first part is 1300 and the second part had a staggering, for this style of game, 2200 simultaneous player peak. That's 10 times more than the third part. But third Rock of Ages is in no way a bad game. It failed to survive the hype train and crashed. The developers abandoned it after a few months, so it has a fair share of bugs, but for this price it's a really good deal. I do recommend. War Mongrels. He'll fight Nazis and show them who's the boss. The storyline is history-inspired and will guide you through the journey of two Wehrmacht soldiers. They go from deserters to hefty guerrilla fighters when they realize that everything they were told is a lie. Sneaking, distraction, silent kills and using the environment are some of the main skills you will have to learn. But a stock of firearms will also be available and useful in completing mission objectives. Well, we all know how it goes. At first you will try to be sneaky like a ninja, like a wind in the grass, like a shadow in the forest, like a silent fart you let out in front of your mother-in-law, and then you mess up everything and go guns blazing. Sometimes you will succeed, sometimes you will die and repeat, or uninstall, depending on your mood and temper. Game also has implemented co-op multiplayer for 2 players, so you and your imaginary friend can play together. Also, what I like the most, that there is no censorship. You will encounter piles of dead bodies, blood, and real Nazi flags. God and Story. This is a social sim and adventure RPG where you play as Concord, a newly appointed village guardian. There is lots to keep you busy. Not only your neighbors need assistance, but a mysterious rot has seeped into the foundations of once flourishing island. Honestly, that part of the story is a shameful ripoff from Yonder Cloudcatcher Chronicles, or from a never-ending story. Although that doesn't really matter because this game is really different in many other aspects. Anyway, he will help your friends with their struggles and they will help you through yours. You know that raging addiction to pineapples in your potato salad will not go away by itself. You need help. So here you will have to balance caring for the environment, exploring new regions and fostering new friendships as you solve puzzles and help restore the grove to glory. Hell Let Loose. This is a hardcore World War II first-person shooter with epic battles consisting of 100 players, with infantry, tanks, artillery, a dynamically shifting frontline, and a unique resource-based RTS-inspired metagame. People on Steam are saying that 80% of the time you will spend either dead, walking, or under artillery fire. You can't spawn half of the time without getting insta-killed by bombs or accurate bullets, but the fact is that you don't mind. Those few moments when you kill somebody who has just spawned are precious, and you would not give them up for anything. And very positive reviews of this game ain't gonna let me lie to you. Only disadvantage here is the price. It's still quite high. Well, not as high as Snoop Dogg or Seth Rogen though. Sea Salt. It's a dark fantasy reverse horror action strategy game with a comfy horror vibe where you play as a nightmarish force of Dagon, the Eldritch God. You will be controlling an ever-growing horde of evil minions. To say short, you are evil and you slay good guys. That is very nice, I like that. Game looks easy at the beginning, you just run after some weaponless guys and tear them to pieces. But later it gets harder and harder.
That's what she said.
And then everything in your control dies horribly. To be short, it's a great game. I have reviewed this game in my channel and back then I gave the game 8 cold beers out of 10, which is a really high amount of imaginary alcohol. WWE 2K23. When I was a kid, you know, some 7-8 years old, my country Lithuania had recently regained independence from the Soviet Union, and we were flooded with all the great American things that we had never seen before. That was like year 1991 or 1992, and wrestling was one of the things we, as kids, got very interested in. It never became a thing here, you know, as a sport, but we were collecting various stickers, magazines and stuff like that. My friend even had a poster with Hulk Hogan, and all the kids in the block were super envious of it. Well, that was a Polish poster and they named it Hulk Hoganovich on it, but we didn't care. And if we had a game like this back in the day, oh boy, but we didn't. We played Mortal Kombat instead. Anyway, it's a great fighting game filled with lore and, you know, John Cena himself. You can beat Hulk Hogan as John Cena here, or the other way around. I checked, it's possible. And the review score is very positive, so what's not to like? Gamedec Definitive Edition. This is a single-player, non-combat cyberpunk RPG. You are a game detective who solves crimes inside virtual worlds by using your wits to gather information from your witnesses and suspects. Also get to the bottom of deceptive schemes, save lives and investigate the relationships between virtual worlds and their inhabitants. The game continually adapts to your choices and never judges, just like your dog does. Also, it sounds a bit like Disco Elysium, and that's a great thing. Although keep in mind that here you will not find any battles and no fighting is available. Pick it up only if you like to read and carefully analyze sentences in dialogues. Broken Lines. The dead are returning from the graves. If crash landing behind enemy lines was already a challenging experience for you and your squad, you sure as hell didn't sign up for this kind of nonsense. Yet now is up to you to discover the source of this occult magic in the war-ridden land that you found yourselves in, and hopefully eliminate it before hordes of zombies spread all over the world. So yes, now every genre has a zombie game. Well, maybe except there isn't a zombie Tetris. If not, someone should create one and credit me for the idea. Well, snap, I just googled it to be sure and...
Unbelievable.
Don't expect miracles and broken lines, the game is quite short and is not innovative as it may seem, although if you like turn-based games, it is really a good choice for your evening. Price is right, so grab it and keep your virginity safe and sound. The Forgotten City. This game, as a lot of gamers point out, is a Groundhog Day in an ancient city. The mechanic here is simple, everyone around you is dying for unknown reasons and you have to stop it. If you fail, and you will fail more than once, you can just go to the portal and restart the day over and over again until you solve the problem of dying so nobody dies anymore. If you think about it, this is a roguelite game, just story-based instead of combat, and it's really one of the best adventure games there is. I'm not gonna lie, if you go to Steam you will see the overwhelmingly positive review score. Also, fun fact, this game started as a Skyrim mod a long time ago and it was so well received it became a separate kick-ass game. And now thank you for watching, have a nice day and I'll see you
next time. Bye.